Hi, I'm State Representative Mark Gillen. I represent the 128th Legislative District in southern Berks County. And as you can see, we're right here at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. And joining me today is Nicole Weaver. And by the way, congratulations are in order. I understand you're expecting a farm boy.
We are in June, little boy.
That's exciting. Now, you are the FFA advisor for the Twin Valley High School. This is our backdrop. Just for a moment, tell us a little bit about what's going on behind us.
So each year at the farm show, the FFA is involved in various competitive classes, from landscape displays to demonstrations, and then educational windows. And we had to start this last summer, and we worked as a team to put together a concept and come up with ideas. We contacted people in the professional field, and then we entered it here and, hope to place well.
It looks like you have placed because I see a ribbon there already. So congratulations are in order. I know this is a passion of yours. This is something that flows through your bloodstream. And as I spent time with you and the students involved in FFA at Twin Valley High School, there's a number of outstanding success stories. Could you tell us a little something about some of the students who graduated and go on to bigger things?
Wow, we have a lot now, which is really exciting. But we have our first state officer from Twin Valley was 3 years ago, Jill Gordon. She's now at Penn State making tracks. She's going to be an ag teacher, following my footsteps. We had two who were state officers last year. One's in South Africa right now doing a study abroad, and the other is at Penn State as well, studying to be an ag teacher. So we've got some great kids. I have a few now that are teaching in various fields. Some are in elementary, some are teaching science. So it's crazy. 10 years at my job and I already have all these stories. This year we have some students who received their Keystone degree, which is the highest FFA degree you can receive in a state. We had 8 that got it on Monday, and we just had 2 ninth graders receive their FFA jacket. They had to fill out an application and apply, and they were two of about 300 in the state that received that. So we're very proud of our school and the things that we're doing, and I love working with my kids, so I love to see them succeed like that.
Lena, you are an FFA officer statewide in Pennsylvania. How did that come to pass? Tell us a little bit about your family background in agriculture.
So I grew up on a 200-acre Black Angus farm in southwestern Pennsylvania, where we grow corn, oats, soybeans, and a lot of hay crops. So when I got to high school, it was only natural for me to join the agricultural organization that my high school offered, just like my older siblings. And like Miss Weaver's students, I also received 5 years ago my first FFA jacket at the farm show, and last year I got my Keystone degree. So I am still a member of the FFA, but in June at our summer activities week, I ran against 17 other peers from our organization to serve as a state officer and was elected as one of 7. So now I get to give back to the organization that gave me so much by putting on workshops and getting to meet the members and really inspire them.
You had 17 competitors when you ran for this office.
Yes.
That is outstanding. Certainly, agriculture is our #1 industry, but it's been really cold this winter. Now, I want to take you back to the farm for a minute now. We have sheep. We had to use a sledgehammer to pound the ice out of the buckets. What do you do when it's 0 on an Angus farm?
It is such a pain in the butt. But should be thanking my parents right now, because I am at the farm show. I'm not at home where it was -11 yesterday. And at our county fair and also at the farm show, I've showed a lot of market steers. And they, of course, are like little prissy dogs. You have to take care of them so well. And I have a space heater in my barn that I defrost the water. So the frost-free spigot, which still will freeze, I defrost it every morning and night just to water.
Well, ladies, we've got some important business to take care of. There's French fries and milkshakes that need to be consumed. Let's head in that direction. I'm at the Pennsylvania Farm Show with Deb Brown from the Greenery in Morgantown. Deb, you got some stuff here that nobody else has at the farm show. Tell us a little bit about it.
Right. Well, years ago when my kids were little, we came to the farm show and there weren't any little inexpensive toys for them. And the story's really long, but they wanted something and we didn't get it for them. But so that's what inspired me to have a booth here at the farm show. When I finally got in, this was what I wanted to do, toys. And once a year, I don't do flowers, which is what I do in Morgantown. I do toys, and we have fun with the kids, really do.
I can validate my interest in inexpensive toys because I have 5 daughters under 14 years of age. What's the foot traffic been like for you this year?
Well, this year the farm show has not been as busy as in other years, and I think it's the weather, and honestly, I think the economy also. You know, they can come and spend the day and not spend a whole lot of money, so they don't have to buy things, but it's free to get in. You just pay for the parking.
They don't have to buy anything except for toys, right?
Right, toys and of course the all-famous milkshakes.
You're here for the duration of the farm show. It looks like, as extensive as this stand is, you've got some substantial setup. You and your husband are pulling this off together?
Right. We started, my youngest son and my husband started setting this up Saturday a week ago, and then I came up with a box, a load full of things every day for 6 days, just getting this set up, you know, and going back to the store and having to work too, but do this. That's what, 6 days, and then we're here for 8 days.
Grace, could you come over here just a second, please? Okay, what we're going to do is we have a shopper in the booth right now, and I know her relatively well. This is one of my daughters. Did you happen to find something over there or some things that you like about this booth?
I like the bow and arrow. It's really neat. And I think the how you make things out of wood's cool.
She likes the wood projects that you have, which are right in front of us here, and this is 106 pieces, this particular puzzle, and it's a destroyer. Now, what concerns me a little bit about 106-piece puzzles, do you think you could put this puzzle together, probably? I don't know. Let's see. It looks like it might fall into your ages. Well, we've got something else. We have the honeybee.
Here's a honeybee.
All right.
How appropriate for the farm show.
Really, absolutely. One of the challenges that we have with puzzles in our house is we got these 5 girls under 14 years of age. Grace is pretty good with puzzles. You mentioned bow and arrow. That sounds a little bit dangerous. What kind of bow and arrows they have here?
Well, it's a fake one, and it just shoots things that stick to stuff. It's not a real one, yeah.
Suction cups, so this stuff is really age appropriate here, and there's no risk involved with these bow and arrows. So you found quite a few things that you like at this booth. Your sisters are nearby, and I noticed they're hanging out, so they must be finding some things that they like as well.
Yeah.
All right, Glory and Hannah are over there. We are privileged to spend time with you, Mrs. Brown. Mr. Brown is nearby. And I guess I'm going to have to now go shopping with you. So why don't you show Dad where those bow and arrows are at? All right? Is it over in this direction of the booth? All right, let's take a walk over there. This morning in Berks County, I woke up and I went out to my box and I got the Reading Eagle. Inside of the Reading Eagle newspaper was the Berks Country Magazine. With me today, I have the editor of Berks Country Magazine, Gary Lenton. Gary, you enjoy this. This flows through your veins. You have a passion for this. Tell us a little bit about your role at Berks Country.
This is one of the best newspaper jobs I've ever had. This is a lot of fun. We try to address an area that has gone largely ignored, I think, for the last 20 or so years by a lot of newspapers, and that is our rural readers, our agricultural centers, farmers, and also we try to focus, in addition to covering agriculture and paying attention to those issues, we also try to look at the culture of our area and the history of it. So we have a lot of writers who contribute to us every week, including Dave, who delve into what makes Berks County, Berks County.
I'm going to offer a little proof that I was in your publication this morning. I was looking at some statistics, and 25 million chickens in Pennsylvania. Well, there's twice as many chickens as there are people. We're going to have to start eating faster or something here. We've got if I'm not mistaken, 7 billion eggs are being laid. We've got 500,000 dairy cow in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's huge in Pennsylvania, and as a matter of fact, it's pretty big in Berks County too.
It is. The agricultural, the economic impact of agriculture is just huge. There's no way of getting away from it. And it's one of the reasons why we feel like we really need to cover this more and familiarize people with where their food comes from and why it's important to their well-being to support this industry. And we're not here to necessarily promote it in the sense of helping them do what they do. They don't need our help to do that. But we want to make people more aware of what they do and give them a greater appreciation for it. And that's what we try to do. And I have to give a credit to Craig Schaefer, our graphic artist, who put that piece together. That was not the original sketchbook item that we planned to have this week. He threw that together very quickly based on some information he gathered because he wanted it to run during the farm show. So he pulled that whole thing together in like a day. And next week you'll see one about snowshoe rabbits, which is what was supposed to run this week. But that's the kind of staff that we have. That Craig saw a need for this, and he very quickly he called me up and said, "Hey, can we sub this in?" I said, "I think it's great," so we did it. And people like you, it's fascinating to read. It's just little bits of information that you don't think about. How many millions of eggs there are. How many chickens that we raise. It's huge.
I guarantee that my daughters are going to be paying attention to the snowshoe rabbit issue because we have rabbits. Dave Klein, you've got a long title. Let's hear it from you.
All right, so my day-to-day responsibilities, I'm the Chief Sales, Marketing, and Advertising Officer for Reading Eagle Company and WEEU Radio, Mark. And now, in addition to that, as Gary mentioned, I also am a columnist in the Berks Country magazine. Love to do it. My column is Mountain Folklore. It reflects my interest and passion in our traditions, our culture, our heritage, and all of those things related to it, the folkloric aspects of it. And then I also produce for the last 30 years plus a show called Mountain Folk. It's currently on WEEU Radio and the internet, and it's on Sunday mornings from 9 till 10 a.m. And the same thing. We have a great history of folk music here in our section of the Appalachian Mountains, and we carry that on every Sunday, 9 o'clock, and that's a little bit of the genesis of was one of the early seeds of this whole Berks Country concept. If you're interested in knowing that, I'll tell you some more about it.
Please.
Sure. So about 2 years ago, our current CEO and president, Peter Barbie, came on board. And one of the early discussions we had was that he was listening to various things on our radio station. And I remember he said, "I was listening to this Mountain Folk show that you do, and how do you bottle that?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "Well, there's something about that. There's some kind of organic or feeling that really is earthy." I said, "Oh, well, okay, we have a great history of this here." And so one thing led to another. Mr. Barbie was looking for new products to put out, added value products for Reading Eagle. As you know, Berks Country is in the Reading Eagle every Wednesday. And I told him a word. The word is Zeitgeist. It's a High German word for the feeling, the spirit of the times, the vibe, how an area feels. And so our buzzword, as we worked with our colleagues, was to find the zeitgeist of Berks County in terms of rural. We were raised, he and I, on books like Foxfire books, and I was a Boy Scout, and all that kind of stuff, And then with my love of folkloric elements, so we gathered around a table. We have people that work on products, new products, like Ann Chubb and many, many others there at Reading Eagle Company. And we started working on a product. Then we went to some focus groups, and we ended up with the product evolving more. We tested a whole bunch of different products. This product, Berks Country, is one of the ones that really, really rang the bell. So as soon as we figured that we were onto something and that there was going to be an acceptance for this, we reached out to some people I knew from my many, many years of working in the agricultural community for all kinds of promotions and through music and so forth. So I reached out to people like Sheila Miller and Carl Brown from F.M. Brown's Sons Incorporated, and Ernie Miller, a gentleman I know got me involved with Grange decades ago, and we asked them to come in and sit and tell us what they would like to see in a publication. They came in and told us. Then we had other focus groups. Long and short of it, after all of that research and all that time, we evolved what we thought we wanted to be the product, and then it was up to Harry Dietz, our team member and editor of the regular Reading Eagle newspaper, to go ahead and find the right man and team for the job. And right there to your left is the right man. He came on board, and I think he has the best job in the whole darn company.
He seems to think so also. You know, you would do really well on the floor of the House of Representatives with a filibuster, Dave. Okay, so you just pulled it off.
Thank you.
What is the measure of success for either one of you gentlemen? I look at a product, I see polish. How do you determine whether this product is successful in its current form, and are we already looking at an evolution of the product for either one of you?
Well, there's a couple of ways to look at that. One, from an economic standpoint, our advertiser's going to support it. But for me, the greatest satisfaction I get is the feedback that we get from readers. If you don't get either good or bad, if you don't get any feedback at all, then people are indifferent about it, and you don't feel good about that. But we ran a survey about 8 months ago, and the responses were overwhelming. And I still get calls, random calls. People just call my telephone up once a week, 3-4 times a week, just because they want to tell me how much they enjoy reading this section. I've been in the newspaper industry for 35 plus years. I've covered everything from state government. I used to work in the Capitol newsroom a while ago, to the nuclear issues, health issues, everything. And I've never experienced a, literally 100% approval rating on anything. No newspaper has. But this product has really, as Dave said, rung the bell with our readers, it seems. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's a joyous thing to see, and just to listen to people how much they enjoy it.
Dave, you're welcome to add something to that conversation if you like. I'm going to pull up a copy here, just from a parent's perspective. We have 5 daughters, we have 4 sheep, and we've also shown rabbits. So I would say, in terms of my children, there's 2 reach sections of the newspaper. This is one of them, and I'm an educator, and I have to apologize. The comic section is another one for my children. So it seems that it transcends the age of the individual reader. You've got people at all ends are at the timeline that are reading this magazine. Is my perception accurate?
It's totally accurate. If you walk around here at the farm show, you see people of all ages engaged in activities. Some activities like the spinning of wool from the raw product and eventually making it into a knitted product. That's timeless, that's ageless. It's been handed down from person to person. Like, we have these great folkloric traditions, and it does the heart very, very well to know that the next generation of kids is coming up learning how to do these things. And it's not hokey, it's not unhip, it's the coolest thing in the world to be that in touch with the earth and what's going on. And our role, our mission, we always say at the Red Eagle Company and WE Radio, it's a vocation, it's a calling, it's not just a job. So when you're looking at the newspaper, listening to the radio station, if we're entertaining you and your family at all levels, good, then we're hitting the nail on the head, because that's our mission. All of these things are worthwhile. Kids could be doing a whole lot more at-risk activities, right? Many kids do. So for our part, we try to develop these products so that we intentionally include 4-H kids. They need a forum too. Another one of our philosophies that guides this product and the entire newspaper is that if we don't produce products that pay attention to the people and places and things that they care about in our market area, then why would they ever pay attention to us? Mark, unfortunately, this is why so many broadcast companies and newspapers have literally bit the dust in the modern age with the internet competition. We're still a locally owned newspaper, locally owned radio station. We are what we are, and we are fiercely independent, and we want to serve our community. And this is how we know we serve our community, because, as Gary said, we get feedback every week. I mean, just writing that column, there's not a week that goes by that I don't get some kind of a letter or an email from somebody and wanting to either add to what I said or ask a question or provide some other information. It's a wonderful interactive thing, and to be able to teach children that kind of thing and have them interact is part of the mission.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I would say, I always tell people when I speak to groups that newspapers should be a mirror of their community. It should be an unflinching mirror. So you're going to see things in the mirror you don't like sometimes, but it is what it is. But this was a whole realm of our community, and not just here. I mean, I think every newspaper in the state that has a farming community nearby could copy and should steal this model. They really should. But as long as they don't come into Reading, we're okay. But this addresses a whole area of interest that really wasn't reflected very well for a long, long time in any newspaper, especially in the Northeast.
As an agricultural property owner, I want to thank both of you gentlemen. We've enjoyed the product. And Dave, thank you for your stringed instrument ability. I have a daughter who plays the harp, and I have a daughter who plays the violin. I don't know if that fits in with your model of mountain or folk music, but they certainly enjoy what they do. And so,
Playing his auto harp today on the radio.
well, I'm going to head over the merry-go-round, and maybe I can find my children over there. So thank you so much,
Thank you,
Dave.
Mark. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. I have the Dairy Princess, or is it Dairy Queen? The Dairy Princess, there you go. And is there a difference between a Dairy Princess and a Dairy Queen?
Well, besides Dairy Queen being branded as a ice cream place, we consider the dairy cow to be the queen and us to be the princess.
I like that. And it's Luann, and your full name is?
Luann Antisdale.
See, I was a little bit reluctant to take that last name on. Now, how long have you been the Dairy Princess, and what exactly does the Dairy Princess in Pennsylvania do?
I was crowned Pennsylvania State Dairy Princess in September, and as a State Dairy Princess, I have 2 alternates, and we all work as a team to represent the dairy industry and dairy farmers all across Pennsylvania.
Now, I know from a lot of other people who do traveling, they're always constantly being fed. And this farm show is a festival not only of animal husbandry and Pennsylvania agriculture, but of eating. What are your favorites around here?
My favorites so far have been the mozzarella cheese cubes, of course, and the milkshakes this year.
So you're staying away from anything that's not related to dairy. The Dairy Princess has to always be eating dairy products. Is that right?
That's right, but I would definitely choose, even if I wasn't the Dairy Princess, I would choose cheese cubes and milkshakes.
Now, I had the privilege of participating in a cow milking contest with you, and it obviously looks like you know what you're doing, and I don't have the slightest idea. Where did you get that skill set from?
Well, I'm originally from Bradford County. I'm also Bradford County Dairy Princess. And in Bradford County, I live on my family's dairy farm, and we milk about 120 dairy cows, Holstein, twice a day. So that's where I get my practice from.
I've heard some say they milk 3 times a day. How do you get off on only 2 a day?
It's really a farmer's choice on if they want to go 2 or 3. At our farm, we have a lot of other things going on. We do our own crops, so it's more convenient for us to only milk twice a day.
Now, is it true that dairy princesses have to buy milkshakes for state representatives?
I don't think that's true, but if that's what you're getting at, I think I can do something for you.
I don't know if you've noticed in that far corner, but there's a milkshake stand. So let's head on over there and let's consume some of those dairy products. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Privileged to have with me this afternoon Secretary of Agriculture George Gregg. George, we've talked before. It's an outstanding opportunity for agriculture to showcase Pennsylvania products and animals. I'm going to ask you a question perhaps maybe hasn't been posed before. You're the State Agriculture Secretary. When was that question posed to you, and what was your reaction to the administration when it was offered to you?
Well, I was totally shocked. My wife and I were in our office on our farm, and we were talking about slowing down a little bit, and we got a call from the transition team, and I was totally shocked. But we kind of both agreed to go for it, and a couple of interviews later, the rest is history.
You're omnipresent around the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I've seen you in Reading, you've been out to Ole in Berks County, and you're here constantly. Did you have any idea what was involved, the responsibilities, the time, and the commitment for this job?
No, I did not. But I'll tell you, farming and it just trains you very well for this job. You know, I've got a pretty good work ethic, and I care about the people, and that's why I do what I do.
Well, you and I just participated in a cow milking contest, and unfortunately, we were on opposite teams, and you came out the winner. I think it speaks to your background. Tell us a little bit about your early years in agriculture and what you do back home.
Well, my brother and I are in partnership, and we were dairy farmers for 30 years. So I've milked a couple cows in that time. We milked 120 cows. We milked 3 times a day for 14 years. So I do have a little bit of experience underneath the cow, and I think that helped a little bit. But it was a team effort, and I said that last year. As long as everyone's going in the same direction, it's kind of like the legislature. It takes a team to get things done.
Now that I have you here, I want to get some tips because I was fully consumed with trying to do this myself, that is the milking. I had never done it before. I know that this is going on the air and you don't want to give away any trade secrets because you were the winner, but could you share something with me in the way of technique?
I just would have to say that I think it's the experience that does it, and once you've done it for a while, you learn how to coordinate your hand movements, and you build up that rhythm, and that's what it is.
I had 2 very high standards I set for myself. One, don't get stomped on, all right? And I achieved that, and avoid cow pies, and I almost avoided that. Cows, and I'm looking at some in the background here, seem like very large, docile, gentle animals, but they're also enormous. You spend a lot of time around animals. Do you have any favorite stories, something that happened to you, near misses?
Oh, I think every farmer has been trampled on or stampeded across when they're trying to move cattle, but for the most part they are domesticated. I wouldn't say domesticated, but they're very docile, and but they can get mean, they can get ornery, but when I was milking this one the first few seconds, she was a little bit upset with me, but she finally settled down and we got the job done.
We have a dairy in the southern end of the county that has gone robotic and computerized. Of course, it's substantively expensive. Can you take us into the window of your mind and look at agriculture 20, 30 years from now? Do you see that as the wave of the future, robotics and technology?
Technology has always been in the forefront of agriculture. We just in my lifetime, we've gone from 60 bushel the acre corn to 280, 300 bushel the acre corn. Also, we have tractors that will drive themselves on GPS now, so and combines, and they measure the acres that they've done, and it's all stored in their computer. How much yield you get, it's just technology and agriculture goes hand in hand, and that's probably the answer to how we're going to be able to feed our communities, our state, and our nation in the future as the population grows.
That's all the time that we have for Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Mark Gillen, and you'll see on the screen in just a few moments contact information for my office. I've been pleased to spend time with Agriculture Secretary George Gregg, and if you'll notice over there, Secretary, my daughter has been patiently waiting for some maple syrup cotton candy. How would you like to join us for that?
I'm good with that. It's very good.
All right, let's head on over.